Shake the dust up. Come on. All week long, it's a farming town. They're making that money grow. Tractors, plows with flashing lights, backing up
a 2-lane road. All right. We got a little country flavor to get us started off this week with our Week 11 matchup previews. So, 10 weeks down in the books, 22 total weeks of regular season play. That makes this Week 11. That makes this the line of demarcation, the halfway point of the year. Chance where most seasons we figure out the haves and the have-nots, and in this case we just have two halves and everybody else being a have-not thus far. Two teams sitting pretty at 7-3, everybody else between 5-4 and 3-6. So that leaves some wide open spaces for people to just jockey, if you will, for position. So I hope it stays entertaining as it has thus far. We'll see how it goes. All right, boys and girls. So last week, yours truly went 4-2 in his matchup predictions, which is something you haven't seen very recently. Only a couple matchup preview shows this week. I've been over 500, so seeing a 4-2 is very warming to my heart. Unfortunately, I picked myself to win, and I didn't. So I'll go ahead and say this. Talk shit for 3 weeks. I was going to beat Ben. Did not hashtag beat Ben, so that's me eating some crow. You had to use your imagination. Imagination to pretend, but that was me eating crow. Ben, you fucking beat me. You laid the hammer to me. When Andrew Haney's throwing complete game shutouts against somebody, there's not much the other team can do. So, props to you. You beat my ass. It wasn't even close. Moving on. Three-way trade last week. First one we've really seen in a while. Carlos Correa being flipped to one Strokeswood. Strokeswood then flipping his shortstop, Francisco Lindor, and in the process acquired Bryce Harper while dealt away Aaron Judge. So we've seen some good stuff thus far. I've enjoyed seeing the maneuvers going on, and it's been nice. So far we have, as I said earlier, a bunch of teams jockeying for position. 7 teams are 4-6 or 3-5. So that's craziness right there. Craziness. All right, so let's go ahead and kick off the previews with our first matchup of the week. And we're going to go ahead and start off with one Strokeswood. Team just did all the acting last week with its acquisitions versus Chuck Nasty's mullet. Chuck Nasty's mullet is in a position he has rarely ever in his fantasy career been, and that is floating. And that's not even floating. He's maybe sinking. That's a better word. Sinking to the bottom of this league, right with yours truly and the other scrubs of this league, sitting at 4-6 and 11th place on the season. Holy smokes. But got some good news on the horizon. One, Mookie Betts just came out the DL tonight. And 2, Paul Goldschmidt has been hotter than lava. Like, he's the one down there in Hawaii right now where the lava's going off, boys. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, he can like walk in it right now and just kind of pillow around. But well, what's up, I'm Paul Goldschmidt? I'm actually hotter than this lava right now. So that's pretty good for D-Harb. Strokeswood doesn't really have anybody that's caught fire like that. His pitching's been all right for him, Strokeswood. He's still sitting in the first place in his part of the division. So the Goldie Eye division, got to appreciate that. So good out there, Strokeswood. And but Chuck Nasty sitting in 11th in last place in the Flying Dreidels, and that's not something we see. I don't think we're going to continue to see it, though, because Chuck Nasty riding behind Paul Goldschmidt this week, who probably goes, I don't know, 11 for 26. You're going to win this week. You're going to get to 5-6. You're going to start slowly crawling out, while Strokeswood, he's just going to maintain his division lead right now. He can't go anywhere. I don't see him falling out of the lead in his division, which could lead to some foreshadowing. But for right now, Chuck Nasty picking up the dub. Strokeswood did not win last week. Wait, I refuse to say. Let me. Un momento. I do not want to be misquoted. Strokeswood, indeed, lost to Charlie's Angels last week. I was very disappointed by that. So it's okay. Strokeswood, you do what you do, but it's not going to be pick up a dub this week. You're going to lose. You're going to go to 5-1, the epitome of 500. All right, so that's our next match. Let's move on to our next matchup. Potentially a team, when I think about him, I think about... Oh, snap. There's a fire in the house. Fire. I'm talking about Strokeswood. This motherfucker has won 5 in a row. Hottest team in the league right now. 5-game winning streak. Went from 12th to 5th like there was no tomorrow. It took him some time, but hey, he's right there in it. Going against Alavila, also sitting at 5-5. 5th place team versus 6th place team. In this week, though, luckily, one of those teams is going to get over 500 for the first time all season, and I'm telling you, it's going to be Strokeswood. Strokeswood is looking impressive recently. Strokeswood long ballers. I'm sorry, guys. I'm dealing with some technical issues here. Apparently, going to the fantasy website has caused my computer to contract some sort of virus. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know what fantasy website I went on to acquire that. Anyways, long ballers, I apologize. Long ballers, you're going to win, man. You're going to 6-5. I don't know how your team has been so hot recently, but whatever's doing it for you, keep riding it, okay? Don't make any trades. Don't drop anybody. Don't add anybody. Just ride the team you got right now, because apparently Miguel Andujar and George Spring the Ding and Jose Abreu have been just good enough to carry your squad right now, even with Andrelton and hot-ass Simmons on the DL. Oh, yeah, you do have future All-Star Nick Markakis doing work. So, long ballers, you're going to win this week. Al Avila, he's been making some trades, been running his mouth, especially with Anthony tonight. And, Al, I don't see you being able to back up your smack talk this week, buddy. You're going to play more like Al Harrington, late Hawks career, just throwing the ball and hoping something goes in because he knows he doesn't really have the skills to win. So, long ballers, you're going to 6-5. Al Avila, you're going to 5-6 and getting right back under 500. When you have Manny Machado looking day-to-day, it's reason to be worried. All right, next up here, we've got the Los Mexicutioners versus the one, the only B Green. Now, B Green and Los Mexis, two dudes, talk a lot, send a lot of trade offers in one case, talk a lot in the other case. All right. Now, what I'd like to see in this matchup, I'd like to see B Green's offense actually do something. Will that happen or not? I don't really know. More than likely, the answer is no. His pitching is always going to be there. But the offense is a question. Los Mexis, on the other hand, he's just trying to field a full squad. And that's kind of hard when everybody on your team continues to just go down. Get Rhys Hoskins back, Chris Archer goes down. So I think instead of playing this week, you guys just need to hunt and fish. That's something I know. Hunting and fishing, loving every day. That's what's going down this week. You guys just need to hunt and fish, not really think about it. And at the end of the week, B. Ryan's going to pick up the dub and go to 6-5. Los Mexis, another player will probably go to the DL right now. I mean, when you've got Darvish, Arch, and Strasburg all on the DL, those are three players that anybody would be like, yeah, I'll take those on my team. Right now, they're just riding your DL. So, without the team health, I don't think you're winning this week against the B. Ryan Express. He's going to 6-5. You're falling to 4-7, and you could start falling. Well, I'd say you'd be in jeopardy, but who the hell knows in this league? So keep doing what you do, man. All right. So our next matchup. So B Green, good job there. Next up, we've got Mr. Clean versus T-Ball. Now, T-Ball apparently met his lumber coordinator today. That's what he was thinking right there the whole time. Really pressured his wood. I like that comment right there. Mr. Clean running his mouth all day with Sav Dog, sending gif after gif after gif and making me chuckle heartily as I played on the golf course today. It don't matter what you're running this week, Anthony. You can run your lips. You can run your fingers across the keyboard. I don't think you're going to pull out a dub. I think your week this week is going to be just as productive as the commentary that you've added to the league or the content you've added to the league. So I don't know if anybody has been privy to this or not, but I've actually got a copy of what Anthony was proposing to do for the league. So his content, I've got it summed up right here. Nothing. He was called copy paper for a reason last week. He's fucking blank notebook paper this week because he's got nothing. Nothing except comments that lead to nothing. We want some league content, Anthony. So until you give me that, you're losing again this week, buddy. T-Ball's going to beat you. He's going to 4-6, 4-7 rather, and he's going to be just fine in terms of playoff position. He's no last place GM. So 4-7 for the one and only T-Ball. Mr. Clean, name change or not, it doesn't really matter. I don't know how Mr. Clean's going to get in trouble now, but it's going to be interesting to see what kind of lawsuit comes to that company. All right, next up, we've got battle of first place squads here. We've got Pup, also known as Pick Up the Pace, versus Dr. Kananga. Kananga picked up a win last week. Pup did not, lost to the previously mentioned Mr. Clean, or in that case, driving Miss Daisy. Pup, I've got a lot of faith in you, man. You've got some good players on your team. Benson Harbor, I don't know how he does it week after week after week, pulling these victories out his ass. You look at his squad, and there's nothing on his team, on his offense especially, you're like, wow, I'm real worried about this. I'm real worried about blank player other than Mike Trout. Joey Votto, I'm worried about him picking up 12 walks during the week, but unfortunately I'm not worried about his power anymore. Trevor Story and Chris Davis, I could be worried about them hitting 5 combined home runs, 6 combined home runs, but they could also strike out 16 times. You look at his pitching staff and you're like, oh, damn, those are some relievers I've not heard of. Oh, damn, their Ks per 9 are 29. Somehow he's striking out more opponents than possible. Corey Klubat doing work. We've got Jacob deGrom doing work. What else does he need? So, Benson Harbor, you're looking pretty solid right there. But unfortunately, it's not going to be solid enough this week to pick up the dub. Because Pup is going to use the players that he has. He's going to use Ozzie Albies. He's going to be using Trey Turner and Cody Bellinger. Then they're going to be doing work like they did all last year. They're going to return back the clock. In Ozzie Albies' case, turn back the month to April. And he's going to do work on you this week. So, Pup, I think you're going to win. Garrett Cole's been great. John Flaherty's been pretty rock solid. Looking at his numbers right now, 4 innings, 1 earned run, K per 9 of 9, just what you're looking for, a whip less than 1. So, Pup, you're getting off to an early lead, and I like it. So I'm picking you to win this week. Last matchup of the week, if I'm not mistaken, is my own personal matchup against Gainesville Steve. Gainesville Steve, it's 1-1 right now in the top of the 4th in the Gators game, man. I've been keeping track of it. I'm really hoping they can pull up the dub against Auburn. Will it happen, though? I don't know. Anybody else following the College World Series, you just got to know Gators in the Super Regional in Gainesville. Won the first game, lost the second game, trying to win the third game right now, and it's 2-1, top 5. Do it, Gators. Anyways, Tim Tebow. That's his recognition to the night. This is my Gator. I have 3 of these Tebow white jerseys, so needless to say, I can spare one tonight to kind of bring back the luck to the Thrill Squad, to bring it to the Gator Nation down there in the Super Regional. Gainesville Steve, talking about you. Appreciate your musings. Obviously, people have commented on it, like hearing your thoughts on life in general. Short, to the point, makes me chuckle as well. How old are your kids? Are they as old as us in their 30s? We would like to know that. Give us some more info about yourself, bro. I'm digging it, though, so far. But what I'm not digging this week is the fact that I think you're going to win. Your squad's been really great recently. You're a good team in general. I think you're in 1st place. Well, I'm in 10th place. So that would lend some credence to why I think you're going to win. Your offense has been blazing hot. Like I thought last week, I would probably have beaten every other team but Ben. Nope. Wouldn't have beat Gainesville Steve. So that might be part of the reason your team is in 1st place. You've got great pitching. Josh Hader's striking out just as many players as he possibly can. That is filthiness. And that's doing great work for your team. I think you're going to go to 8-3. I'm going to fall to 4-7, and I'm going to start falling into consolation bracket territory if I'm not careful. So Gainesville Steve, you're going to pick up the dub this week over Trader Will. So overall, I've got Trader Will losing. I've got Dr. Kananga losing, Los Mexis losing, Mr. Clean losing, Strokeswood losing, and Al Avila losing this week. It's going to be a great week. I can feel it already. All right, so moving on to our next segment here, boys and girls. Let's just transition bluntly. Let's talk about the team of the week. We've talked about Los Mexis. We've talked about Chuck Nasty. This week we're going to talk about T-Ball. T-Ball in 12th place right now, but he's been up and down between 12th and 9th all year. I was hoping he made the playoffs. That would be freaking phenomenal. T-Ball. Let's talk about this fool for a second. 1, rocking the trade, happiness, and talk happiness. Like, I know if I want to swing a deal, I can send him an offer when he gets things talking. Anybody in the league knows about that. Anthony, unlike him, he just says, give me somebody. He doesn't even throw an offer out there. Maybe that's how you learn to deal with folks. Even I know that. Number 2, you got some good pop in the lineup, man. You got some guys that are going to hit some taters, some dingers, some long balls, if you will. So I think that's pretty good. You've got a good rotation if you have Snell, Charlie Morton, and then a combo of Joe Musgrove and Tanner Roark in your top 3. That's not too shabby. People scoff at Blake Snell. Check out his numbers this year. He's been flat out phenomenal. I regret trading him for Chad Green earlier this year. Last thing I can say about T-Ball. Keep McGilson on the bench. He ain't no good. He's an abuser. He's a strikeouter. And he's fat. So keep him on the bench. Alright, so T-Ball, that's some knowledge for you. Our 12th place team of the week. Alright, so that's about going to wrap it up here. Before I go, NBA Finals just ended. I was sad. I don't know if anybody else caught any of the games or not, but I definitely caught all 4. And I brought a tear to my eye to see LeBron getting thoroughly dominated with that squad of shitbags that he was with. So needless to say, we're going to count down the top 5 destinations that LeBron's going to be in next season. I'm going to start at number 30. Cleveland. There's 0 chance that he stays in Cleveland next year. I wouldn't imagine why he would want to stay there. There's no trades that can be made, no contracts going to be done, and who the hell would want to play with Jordan Clarkson? Number 5, Atlanta Hawks. What? What's that? Yes. Come to Atlanta, LeBron. Please, come to Atlanta. We'll fill up Phillips Arena every single night. You rocking with John Collins and Dennis Schroeder. That's a team right there. Got a new coach, Lloyd Pierce. You're going to be great. Number 4, Boston Celtics. Bill Simmons just jizzed his pants, but I saw an article on The Ringer as well that commented on this. LeBron James got a chance to join Gordon Hayward and maybe run Kyrie back out of town with his, oh, my knee, oh, this is so hurt, it's got a screw in it, oh, I can't play. Number 3, L.A. I don't really care if he goes to L.A. or not. He might want to go to L.A., but that's where people think he might go. Number 2, Philly. It would be so freaking tight if he was teamed up with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and J.J. Redick and all those players. I would be digging Philly. I'd be watching them every single night. But Ben Simmons and him play exactly the same role. Ben Simmons and him might be exactly the same player, just cloned from one. Obviously, Simmons cloned from LeBron while he was on one of those trips into Australia. Number 1, Houston. Go play with Chris Paul and James Harden and Clint Capella and get coached by Mike D'Antonio. Then you guys can either win together and get the monkeys off your back, or you continually lose together and have people continue to ridicule you and say can't win the big one. So that's my top 5 places LeBron could go. That's going to do it for this week's matchup preview show. Tune in next week, boys. I'm hoping to be closer to playoff contention. I'm sure you are too. Peace out, and we'll see you next week.